This week on No Cell Service, our hosts cover the slasher film, Scream. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised.
This has been years coming. We've only had the podcast for a year, but this has been years in the making.
100%. It's funny because my wife asked me earlier, she was like, isn't that like Tor's favorite horror movie? And I was like, funny enough, it's mainly just the horror movie that they're grouped with because it came out the year that they were born.
Yep.
And, I will never forget you telling me that. Not that you don't love Scream.
Yeah.
It's just like, that was kind of thrust upon you more so than you having it a part of your personality and people seeing it and being like, oh, therefore. I mean, goddamn, this is such a classic. I know I use the word, I say so many of these movies that we talk about are classics.
But for our generation...
There's a lot, but yes, this specifically.
This spawned Scary Movie.
Yeah.
This spawned so many other things that the ghost face is a household mask. It is one of the top grossing Halloween costumes every freaking year.
Yeah. It literally birthed the genre of satirical horror to the degree of it.
Like mainstream.
Yeah, because there were movies like Movie 43 and the random...
Movie 43 was way after Scary Movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Maybe I do have my timeline.
Movie 43 was...
I thought there was
the
like
2010s?
Oh, wow.
2013, yeah.
I feel like there was an earlier one, but I could be wrong.
And Scary Movie came out, I want to say early 2000s? Yeah, 2000.
Damn.
Which is when 2000... Is that when the third Scream came out? Was 2000? 2001?
Maybe. I don't really remember much of the franchise. I mainly only really remember the first.
Scream 3 was the first one I saw. Yeah, it came out 2000.
Interesting.
I watched it hiding behind my parents' couch when they watched it.
That's funny.
So I was 4.
I did that with Patrick Swayze's Ghost.
I've still never seen that.
It's actually, it's a pretty good movie, but the ending is definitely not for a 5-year-old.
Oh.
And my mom tried to hide me from that, but I was like, but I want to see the ghost.
I gotta see. It's called Ghost.
Yeah. Oh God. I love this movie for a multitude of reasons. The actors that are in it, the homages to the horror genre as a whole, and just kind of using that as a way to build the story and make it. I mean, it's very, very obvious, right? They kind of put it in your face. But that's what I love about it is you're stuck with this thing and you're like, oh my God, that's I'm living out what these characters are fucking talking about because all these teenagers are just so addicted to horror movies. That
is what I love about it because I feel like a lot of other horror movies don't address the horror genre. They're like, oh my God, I don't like horror. I don't like whatever.
There's the tropes that they try to either get around doing without saying it, or they'll try something new, which either way is fine. If you use the typical tropes, there's a reason they exist. Yeah. But also, they get, like you said, a lot of movies try and hide it almost. So they just make it something that you infer as you watch. By the end, you're like, oh, well, it's like this other horror movie because these themes match or whatever.
And this blatantly says every freaking horror movie. I think there are 22 references to other horror movies in this one.
I mean, they're literally, spoilers, but I mean, it's fucking Scream. They're literally watching fucking Halloween,
the original Halloween,
in the house party, which is so good because that back then was their classic, you know what I mean? And so it just, the way it all fucking turns out.
Dude, they bring up I Spit on Your Grave. the horror movies they bring up too. I don't, because again, we were born in 96.
Yeah.
I don't know how well referenced those horror movies were at the time, but you talk, no one talks about I Spit on Your Grave anymore, I feel like. Yeah. I feel like that's a niche horror movie.
Fucking wild. But, I mean, we'll get into it. A lot of the dialogue will pertain to exactly what we're talking
everything
about.
Else. I do have to ask, have you seen all of them? All of the Scream movies?
I don't think I've seen all of them. Especially the way that this is so fucking weird, but I've always talked about how I used to have a TV in my bedroom when I was younger, and I just had access to cable, so I just watch whatever was on TV, and so I would mix up Scream and Scary Movie.
Oh,
because
the first two in Scary Movie.
Yeah, so I'd be watching Scary Movie and be like, oh, this is hilarious and goofy and not scary at all, and then all of a sudden you know, another night I'd put it on and the actual scream would be like, what? Why is this happening? Oh my God, none of this is fun. You know, so it's just like a weird jumble in my head for the longest time.
I've seen the first 5. So I remember when 4 came out. It has Emma Roberts in it. I love Emma Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
So she was in there, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I have to watch this. And then Scream 5 is just called Scream. Scream came out 2022, and that came out on my birthday that year. So I went and saw it for my birthday that year.
Hell yeah.
And then I have not seen 6 and 7.
I heard 7's actually pretty good.
I've heard they're great. And, like, Jenna Ortega's in them, and I love Jenna Ortega.
The reason why I haven't specifically sat down and just, like, watched them all is I don't really, like, I like those movies, but as far as the horror genre goes, if I want to, like, sit down and watch a horror movie in my free time of my own choosing, I usually want something that scares me. And well, trust me, in real life, serial killers are terrifying to me. I'm more so, like, shook to my core when it comes to the paranormal or, like, a lot more unknown. If I know it's just a dude in a mask, it doesn't take away from it, you know, especially when we've done, like, Hard Eyes, or we did, what's the other one in the park?
In the park.
Not the park, like the theme park, like the horror.
Oh, Hellfest.
Yes, Hellfest.
It's like, at the park, what the...
Like, that serial killer is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
But I think the way that the way that
like, a lot of those standard slasher flick is just not your jam.
Yeah, I mean, they'll still freak me out, and I'll be like, ooh, the suspense. But, like, if I want to sit down and watch a scary movie, I want to be scared by it. And the Scooby-Doo type shit just doesn't scare me, you know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I feel like, is a little different, because he's, like, I don't even know if they qualify him as human, you know what I mean?
Well, it's the same thing with, like, Michael Myers. He's also, like, doesn't die. And Jason, Freddy... they don't die.
Well, like Jeepers Creepers, it's like that's not just a dude. You know what I mean? There's that extra level that just kind of adds to the terror in me when I'm watching those movies. That's the only reason I haven't really sat down and watched all of them.
I love slasher flicks. They're probably my favorite genre of horror movies. I just love I don't want to say like mind numb of it, but you just get to be along for the ride. Yeah. And sometimes I feel with the paranormal and the unknown, I'm trying to solve the mystery. So my brain's like working. So if I just want to sit down and watch a movie, good slasher, way to go for me. Yeah. No, that's fair. On that note, we should do Hellraiser, the remake. Oh, I'm down. Odessa, the main character, her last name is like A,Ziona, I think. She's also in Until Dawn. She plays Nina Until Dawn, the movie. I still haven't watched. Oh my god, dude! Until Dawn movie. I love her. I want to see her in more horror movies. Did you know Scream's original working title was Scary Movie? That's so funny. So when you're talking about how you got them mixed up as a kid, I was like, oh, that's fun because the cast wrapped gifts, like for when everything wrapped, it was still Scary Movie. All of their merch says Scary Movie on it. It also makes sense because they literally say that they would say the name of the movie then in the movie at one point, very specifically. I remember like watching it earlier today and being like, oh, they said the name of the other movie. Directors will fit that in half the time, saying the name of the movie in the script. I mean, there's a fucking Family Guy bit about it, so. Did you also know that Wes Craven cameos in the first 4? Really? Yes. Very blatantly in this one. And I guess I've only seen Wes Craven old. I guess I don't know what Wes Craven looks like. That's what I am now coming to understand. He had, or his daughter did a show on the Syfy channel for prosthetic makeups and like horror looks, and he would show up on that to like judge things and talk about like molds and stuff. That's cool. And so he was like a bald old man, and his cameos he's not right. Yeah. He's dressed up differently, and so it makes sense. I'll point it out. Yeah. So the problem with Scream, right, with us covering Scream, is that have you seen the meme where it's like, oh, as a master in your field, it's hard to remember that the lay person doesn't know XYZ. They probably only know, and you list some more niche shit. Have you seen that meme? I feel like I have, yeah. And it's, And then you forget to explain the obvious.
Mm-hmm.
For us, Scream is a classic, and we think everyone has seen it. And so I'm going to do my best to act like y'all have not seen this movie and talk about it like we would any other movie that isn't super well known. Because I feel like it's almost one of those things where people think they've seen the movie because you've seen so much about it.
Yeah, or like enough people have talked about it, or you've seen enough clips put together, like, you know.
You watch Scary Movie and you're like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. So we're going to do our best to keep it just how we would any other movie and go off like that. But it's hard because this is a beloved classic. It's a beloved classic in our hearts and in IRL life.
Yeah. So no, I love it. The only thing... It's frustrating because like this doesn't happen with a lot of movies, but it's happened on a few that we've done for the podcast. I've seen it before and I watched it again. My brain only holds on to the house party and beyond and like a couple other things that happened before. Like I know, you know, like obviously like some of the major things that happened. I remember the beginning and I remember like... It's
kind of the fluffy bits in between that I forgot about.
It's a lot of the fluff that my brain just does not hang on to. Once we get to the video store, that conversation's fucking great. I remember a lot of that.
As we are talking about, so the house party is the climax of the movie, obviously. They called it Scene 118, and the cast made shirts that said, I survived Scene 118, because it took 21 nights to film.
Oh my god.
It's 42 minutes long. That is literally half of the movie.
Yeah.
It's the latter half of the movie.
Yeah, it's good shit.
It's good. The one thing I will caveat this movie with, if you have seen Scary Movie, any parody movie, you cannot take this movie seriously. It is very hard after seeing all of the parodies to watch this movie and take it seriously. And it's really not, in my opinion, supposed to be taken as top shelf, highbrow horror. It does not take itself seriously.
No, it doesn't. It's very relaxed. It knows what it wants to be, though.
So we open with the title in the most iconic font of this generation.
Yeah.
Because it was also the same font used for the no piracy ads.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
You wouldn't download a car. If you've seen any of those memes, that font is the title scene. It's a black screen with Scream in that font.
Which, you know, really quick, all I gotta say when it comes to the piracy shit is we went from that to what, like, you know, the anti-piracy ads to now people are justifying piracy and even companies are being like, I'd rather you pirate my game than play this fucking bullshit or whatever, like do whatever sketchy shit. Literally because like people are like, well, if, you know, if
What fucking CEO said it? Don't get used to owning your video games?
That was fucking Kojima, dude. That fucking bummed me out. And it's like, if buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing.
Yes. Yeah.
And
it's literally what it is.
It's fucking crazy to see, you know.
Consumerism at its finest.
Yeah. Anyways, we should probably talk about the movie.
We get the iconic font, Scream. It flashes the Scream font from white to red, and then we get a phone ringing. There's also a Scream, the iconic Scream, and then the phone ringing. And Cassie, Drew Barrymore, whose idea it was to play Cassie. She was supposed to play Sydney. And
wow.
She called up and was like, okay, but like, what if I played Cassie instead? And they were like, girl, you're on the poster. You're the main character. She said, no. I die early. That means no one's safe. She had it. She knew. Great. Oh my god.
That's so
Drew Barrymore, chef's kiss.
That's so good.
So she answers the phone, and the voice on the other line is a voice augmented. It's augmented, but not to a degree where you question it. It's a little off-putting, but it's a
little gravelly, just kind of like
male sounding voice. I'm just gonna say he because it's a more masculine voice.
Yeah.
He asks what number this is, who is she, blah blah blah, and she's like, you got the wrong number. Hangs up on him. She puts some Jiffy Pop on the stove. Have you ever made Jiffy Pop? Besides when were you there when we did it camping?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember because you guys had left early. I couldn't remember if you were there when we did.
No,
that.
I was definitely there because I think that was my first time ever doing it.
Oh yeah, I love Jiffy Pop. I think the shh is worth it.
It's so fun.
I just have a good time doing it.
Yeah. Making popcorn any other way than just like microwaving it in a bag is so much better than...
Oh, we have an air popper. It's like my favorite.
Oh my God, that sounds... Yeah. I need one of those where it's like an egg dome. And you like put the butter stick on top, cooks the popcorn, and then like melts the butter in and just kind of like lets it drip as it cooks. Like, I need one of those.
It's good. I like those.
God damn.
So if you don't know, Jiffy Pop is it's like its own pan, and you put it on the stove top and you shake it and do all the kind of stuff that the microwave does, but on the stove, and then it puffs up into this big aluminum ball. And that is a real thing that exists.
Yeah.
It's not just some shit that you see in movies.
Yeah. No, they actually exist, and I highly recommend, like, if you ever go camping or anything like that, like, give it a try.
Or honestly, you have a fun movie night.
Just do it on movie night. Makes it a little more fun, you know?
The phone rings again. You called back. Why? Oh, I just wanted to apologize. She hangs up again. She gets back to the stove when the phone rings again. The voice says, they go on a whole thing about, oh, do you like scary movies? And we get on the...
He asks her what her favorite is, and she's like...
Halloween. You know, the guy with the mask. She leaves the popcorn on the stove. And the thing about this popcorn is you do leave it for a while, but then you have to start shaking it. Otherwise, it's going to burn. Yeah. So as soon as she leaves it on the stove, you know it's going to burn.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about this movie, that movie. They mention, again, like I said, I think there are 22 or some odd number of other horror movie references throughout this movie.
Yeah.
They ask the voice asks if she has a boyfriend. She says she doesn't. He asks what her name is. She asks why. He says, because I want to know who I'm looking at.
And then she's like, what? The camera zooms in on her and the music gets all tense.
She's, what? I want to know who I'm talking to. That's not what you said. What do you think I said? This movie's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Look, she's on the phone for a hot second. She's about to hang up again, and he's like, don't you dare hang up on me, bitch. And gets all aggressive.
Yeah.
She hangs up. He calls back. She hangs up. He calls back. He says, if you hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish. This is not a joke. But let's play a game.
He's like, if you answer my questions right, you get to live, or you win.
Yeah, he's like, can you handle that blondie? So she's blonde in this one, so she knows he is actually watching her.
Well, and he says, if you lose, I can't remember when he's like, go to the back door, or like, you know, like look out back.
Okay, so she threatens to call the cops. He says they won't make it in time. You're in the middle of nowhere. She asks what does he want? He says to see what your insides look like.
Gross.
There's a knock on the door. She asks who's there. The voice says, you might as well just go investigate a strange noise outside. You never say who's there during a horror movie. So this is getting our first instances of bringing in the quote-unquote horror movie rules, which, if you don't know, Scream is the movie that talked about the horror movie, how to survive a horror movie list of rules. She threatens him with her boyfriend, and he's like, you don't have a boyfriend. She's like, yeah, I do. He's big and strong, and he plays football, and he'll beat your ass if you continue, blah, blah, blah. He's like, is his name Steve? Tells her to turn on the patio lights. Steve is in his Letterman, duct taped to a chair with duct tape around his mouth, beat the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her, this is... because Saw came out after this movie, obviously. Saw came out in, I think, 2000, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
But we get the, I want to play a game, which is also automatically makes me think of Saw, and I wonder if Saw was inspired by Scream for that kind of thing. And the game is, he lives or he dies if you get it right.
Yep.
So it's horror movie trivia. At this point, she's cowering behind the big box TV. And she's like, she keeps saying, oh, I can't do this. And he's like, no, it's easy. We'll have a test question. Who's the killer in your favorite movie in Halloween? She says, Michael Myers. He's like, good, you're right. Now the real question. Name the killer in Friday the 13th. She gets up and she's like, Jason, motherfucker, I saw that movie 20 fucking times. And he's like, no. If you've seen it so many times, you would know. Mrs. Voorhees was the original killer. Jason didn't come till the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Then Steve gets his guts ripped open.
Yeah. The lights go out in the backyard, and then see a shadow, and then, like, you hear a slash, and he gets fucked up.
Yeah, dead, bleeding. And then he says, here's a bonus round. Final question. Which door am I at? choose between the two doors. They're super simple. You have two entryways, your patio door or your front door. Choose wisely. She's like, I can't do this. I won't do this. The chair gets tossed through the back door first.
Mm-hmm.
This chair busts in through the back door, and the voice, like, calls her a bitch again, something. She runs into the kitchen that is now filled with smoke because the Jiffy Pop is on fire.
Yep.
The house detectors, what? The smoke detectors aren't going off yet. This is where she sneaks out the side door. This house, my guy, fucking huge. There's not only two entrances, there are like four. Earlier, she's wandering around, locking all of the doors and closing all the windows. It's a 2-story freaking mansion.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously big.
It's huge.
So she sneaks out one of the side doors and is clutching the phone and not a butcher knife.
Just like a big chef knife.
Yeah, thank you, a chef knife. She's clutched against the side of the wall, and she ducks because she can see a car on the road. She goes like under a window and then like looks up into the window, and Ghostface fucking punches through the window. Oh, we forgot to describe what he looks like because I'm just so used to this being iconic. Ghostface is dressed in your Halloween robes, like the black Halloween robes, with a black or a white mask that has the big eyes and the long elongated mouth. You have seen this mask.
Yeah.
It is Ghostface.
You've definitely seen this mask.
It's the Scream mask.
Yeah.
And he's running around dressed like a Halloween costume character.
Yeah.
But he punches through the window. She slashes at his hand. He pulls back. She bolts across the lawn, trying to flag down the car. He tackles her, chasing her, and this is like the first scene where it's all of the satirical stuff of this movie kicks in for me when she's running across the lawn because it's a little bit in slow motion and you see him with his arms flailing after her.
Oh my god.
And he gets to her and he cuts her. He's like going to town. He cuts like not her jugular, but like where her voice box is, so she can't actually scream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her parents who are here, and they pull up, and she's in the lawn, and they don't see her. And then as soon as they enter the house, they see all the smoke, and they start yelling for her. They can't see her. Dad says, "Go to the Mackenzies, call the cops. I'm gonna look around here." And she picks up the phone, and you can hear Casey dying. Mm-hmm. Just the gurgles and the
yeah.
And poor mom, and he's like, go, like, I'm gonna look for her, go. She opens the front door, and there is Casey hanging from the tree, guts cut open, dead. Mom does the grabs her face, screams, falls to the ground,
so
and we cut to Sydney.
Sydney,
who is in her bedroom, and she's at her computer. She's typing away when she hears a noise out. And her boyfriend, Billy, scares the shit out of her. She screams. Her dad tries to bust in, knocking on the door. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Her bedroom door and her closet door open on the same wall. So, like, to stop her dad from just bursting into her room all the time, she opens her closet door. So when he opens the bedroom door, it blocks it like a block. Which just means this man wanders into his teenage daughter's room way too often. And I hate that. Yeah. Give your kids some privacy, my guy.
Yeah, that still didn't exist back then.
No, especially with him. And I understand why with him once we learn Sydney's, like, past trauma of the last year. But still.
Yeah.
He's saying, I'm going to be gone. I thought I heard a scream. And she's like, no, what scream? Yes, you're going to be gone. You're going to be at this hotel, and recites, like, they've had this conversation 4 times at this point. What hotel he's going to be at. There's numbers written down. There's money on the table. She'll be okay. If she has any emergency, just give him a call. Everything will be fine. He goes to bed. Billy had snuck through the window and was hiding behind her bed, and then, like, pulls up a stuffed animal and is like, oh, that was scary. And Billy, off the bat, creep central.
Yeah. He's fucking creepy. He's pushy. He's just...
He sneaks into her bedroom and says, well, I was watching The Exorcist, and then it occurred to me that I had never snuck in through your window before, so I thought I would.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
She says, oh, were you trying to make some raw footage, like, insinuating that they were gonna fuck? They make out for a bit, and he's like, I would never break your underwear rule. And she tells him he needs to go, because if her dad finds out, it'll be a disaster, so they make out a little bit more. Gets out the window. He's half out the window and says, I'm not trying to push you. I want you to know that this is okay. We're good. And she asks him, or she says, I appreciate the romantic gesture. Would you settle for a PG-13 relationship. And he's like, what does that mean? And she unbuttons her top and then flashes him. And he's like, you fucking tease. And then climbs out the window. At school, which in the credits, there is a no thanks at all to the whatever school district that they contacted to try to do the school at.
Oh my God.
Because I guess the school didn't realize it was a horror movie. They thought it was a comedy. And so they greenlit the movie to be shot there. And then once they found out it was a horror movie, they pulled out and said, you're not doing violence at our school. And so they ended up filming at the community center instead.
Oh my God.
And so Wes Craven literally in the credits said, no help to you, motherfuckers!
That's so funny. God, I wish I'd known that. I would have stuck around in the credits.
There is a whole Scream website. I think it says like Hello Sid or something is the website. And
That's
it has
so funny.
a bunch of merch. It has a bunch of trivia about all of the movies, interviews, all of that kind of stuff.
Scream.gov.
I wish. Sydney is walking up to school and there are police barricades. There are reporters at the get-go. There are kids talking about all of this stuff. There are news reporters talking about the murder that happened. And then we listen to Gail Weathers explain more in detail about the murders.
Courtney Cox.
Yes, who fought for this role.
Did she?
She did. She was not originally cast. She called up and was like, I can be a bitch. I want this role.
Oh, I love that. You say that and it makes sense in my head because throughout this movie, you could definitely feel the passion on her end. Like you can always feel that when someone really wants. You remember when we saw the fucking Jurassic Park movie with Scarlett Johansson?
Yes.
In theaters?
Yeah.
She just looked so happy to be in that movie the whole time. And it's because she wanted to be in that franchise because she loves the Jurassic Park movies. It's like when you watch that movie, she's just like smiling and just like, I'm so happy I'm here. It's like, it's so adorable. But
yeah, I think Courtney Cox, Gail Weathers, throughout all of the movies is top tier.
Yeah, I know I knew that she was at least in like up to 3, but I don't know.
She's in 4, and I think I saw her on the poster for 6 or 7.
I wouldn't be surprised if she came back.
So Sydney gets jump scared by her best friend Tatum, who is like, yo, did you hear what happened last night? And Sydney does not. They talk about the whole murders, that Casey had her guts ripped open and that Steve was dead and all of this kind of stuff. And the cops have no idea who did it, but they're interviewing everyone at the school just for some kind of lead because they have their shit out. They're up Shit's Creek without a paddle type deal. Tatum, as they're walking into school, says it's the worst crime that's happened since, well, anyways, and walks into school alluding to something that has happened. You're like, okay, keep that in the back of your mind. We cut to Sydney in class, who had said that she sat next to Casey in English, and she's staring at Casey's empty desk. Mm-hmm. Like, what the fuck? She gets called in to be interrogated, and the principal is weird as all hell.
Yeah.
Who's played by another famous actor.
Yeah, goodness, I gotta look it up now, because...
I got that thing pulled up. Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler. Goodness.
Yes, this is way too old of a reference. He played the Fonz.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's his Arrested Development? I'm trying to think of like new shit he was in because he's a very famous guy.
Yeah, God, what else was...
You see him and you know who he is.
Yeah.
Is the point. He plays the principal, and the principal is freaking weird because Sid automatically recognizes Dewey, who is the deputy of town, standing with the sheriff, and she's like, hi, Dewey, and he says it's deputy whatever their last name is right now, Sydney, but good to see you. And the principal's like, grabs her shoulder and is like, they just want to ask you quick few questions, this won't be dragged out. And then he like grabs her chin and is like, are you okay? The sheriff and Dewey look side-eye each other. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
We get one question before it cuts to everyone at the fountain. So there's like this water fountain in the middle of the grounds that Billy, Sydney, Tatum, Stu, and Randy are all at. Mm-hmm. So we get introduced to the last of the crew that we'll be dealing with, who's Matthew Lillard as Stu, who plays Tatum's boyfriend.
Such a gooby.
Jamie Kennedy as Randy.
He's great.
So this is the rest of our crew. This is the rest of the teenage hooligan group that we will be following for the rest of the movie. Billy and Sydney are huddled on one side being all coupley. Stu and Tatum are in the middle being all coupley, and then Randy's on the opposite side of them. They start debating what happened, like who did the murders, and Randy's like, oh, I bet it was Billy, he's really creepy, and then Stu's like, why the fuck couldn't it be me? And they're just going off, and because the boys got asked if they like to hunt, and it was because Casey was gutted. Sydney asked, like, how do you even do that? And Stu's like, well, what you see, you grab the knife and you cut from groin to neck and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He goes off on a whole thing about it, which Sydney walks away at that point. Billy looks at Stu saying, tact, my guy. The fuck? But they're all talking about who they think did it and who did it in their little friend group. Everyone says Randy's really creepy because he's the horror movie guy. He works at the video store. But he was working last night, so he couldn't have done it. Stu and Tatum worked together all night last night, so they couldn't have done it. But Stu has a loose connection to Casey. They used to date for a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. And Randy says, oh, didn't she break up with you? And Tatum turns around and looks at him and says, didn't you break up with her for me? And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's funny.
They're very good teenagers being teenagers in this moment. They're like eating grapes or something really weird. I don't know what they're eating, like just a bag of grapes.
Yeah, just vibing.
Back at the house, or Sydney gets dropped off like with the school bus back at her place. Her dad's gone. She's wandering around. She ends up calling Tatum to be like, hey, can I stay over at your place tonight with all the cops around? It just is giving me too much deja vu. I don't want to be here alone. Tatum says, yeah, I'll come pick you up at 7 or a little after 7. Don't worry about it. You're good. The music, it gets super freaking weird as she comes downstairs to pack her bag. So instead of taking a bag upstairs to pack, she has like her boots and a little like overnight makeup bag with folded clothes in her arms and goes down to the hall closet to then get a bag. And it does this big like noise as she opens and like nothing's there. It just sets you on edge, right? She closes the door, she packs her stuff, sits down on the couch. There's a bunch of news and she's flipping through everyone talking about the murders, and then she stops on Gail Weathers. This is the worst murder we've seen since Maureen Prescott, who was raped and murdered last year, found in the town square, blah, blah, blah. She turns that off. You're like, oh, Maureen Prescott was her mom. She's Sydney Prescott.
Yep.
She lays on a different couch because this house is really big. They have like a living room and a seating room and a entry hall. It's a huge ass house.
Yeah, man.
So she lays on a different couch and then pulls her feet up with shoes on. Get your fucking shoes off my couch, man.
Yeah, I don't care if you have 3 living rooms. Respect each of the couches, please, by just not putting your shoes on it.
I don't even like wearing shoes in my house. I don't even wear shoes in your house.
No, I don't care if other people wear shoes necessarily. Rarely do people ever trudge through my house with shoes. I also vacuum a lot, so shit's clean anyways.
I don't know. It's just, it's like a respect thing. I don't know.
No, I get it. Like,
don't bring your dirty shit in here. So she pulls up her white little freaking dirty ass sneakers. Not that they're actually dirty, but I don't know. They've been in the outside world onto the couch and naps. And we watch the sunset because it was like high in the sky. And then we watch it set. And then we get the clock and it's 7:15 when she wakes up with a phone call. And it's Tatum being, hey, I'm on my way. Like, I also want to stop at the video store. We can pick up a, what does she say? What movie? She mentions a movie where it's like, oh, if you pause just right, you can see his penis.
It's the one with Tom Cruise.
One of the Tom Cruise movies. Is it Top Gun? How old's Top Gun?
Is it Top Gun? Do you see Tom Cruise's Schmagooga in Top Gun?
I've never seen Top Gun, either one.
I don't think you do.
Tom Cruise penis movie.
Add that to the Google search.
Yes, you saw Tom Cruise's penis in that one movie.
What movie?
I'm sorry, this website is called Mr. Man. I had to say I was older than 18. Hold on. All the right moves.
All the right moves.
Can I? Oh, it's gonna make. I was gonna try and look at the scene, but it's gonna make me put in my email, and I'm not doing that, Mr. Man.
They ban porn in the States, so they gotta make sure you can't go look at Tom Cruise's dick.
So she hangs up with Tatum. The phone calls back, and she's like, Tatum, just fucking get the movie. I don't care. Just come pick me up. It's the voice again that we recognize from Casey's murder. She instantly calls out Randy and is like, okay, Randy, like, whatever, I'm not in the mood. Does the same thing of like, oh, I just have one question. Where am I? Or the question isn't, who am I? It's, where am I? She goes up to the freaking front door, he says your front porch or something like that, and she's like, well, I call your bluff, and she slides off her freaking chain lock, opens the door, steps out onto her freaking porch, looks around, leaves the front door open to then walk around the edge of the house and is like, yeah, I don't fucking see you. And then she's like, where are you? And the voice doesn't say anything or does say something, and then she like picks her nose and she's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah, fuck you, and hangs up, right?
Why even play games?
Because it's a game. Right? Like, why does a serial killer do anything?
But no, I mean, like, why is she playing games when, like, at school that day, you and your friends were talking about someone you knew getting murdered? That just wouldn't be the time that I chose to, like, provoke someone that called me, like, a stranger being like, where am I? Like, fucking with me. I'd just be like, nope, call the cops. All right, we're just not going to...
It's a different time, though, because, like, think about with Black Christmas, how they provoke the caller back to be like, hey, stop fucking calling us, because we talked about it being like a voyeurism thing, right? Of these people getting off on your reaction when they call you like that. Yeah. So if you're not giving them the reaction they want, they're more likely to not call. And when you think it's Randy, one of your friends from school, even though the voice is like, I'm not Randy. I don't know. I at this point don't blame her, except for the fact that, like, I would never go and check my porch. I would go look through the peephole, and that's about it.
Yeah, like, at least just don't go outside. Don't play those games. I don't know.
We're inside people.
Yeah, I don't trust most people.
The phone calls back. She calls him Randy again, and the voice says, if you hang up, I'll kill you like your fucking mother. And she's like, who are you? What is this? She gets inside and Ghost, like, locks the door, she chains it. Ghostface pops out of the closet, attacking her, slamming her head into the ground. She gets dazed for a second, and the thing, like, crouches above her. I say thing, like the person.
Yeah.
Holds up both hands with the knife above his head, goes to swing down, and she, like, comes to, being like, oh, fuck, and she, like, kicks him in the thigh, and, like, gets out from under him. She runs upstairs, which is ironic, because she just talked about how she hates horror movies because the big boobed woman goes upstairs instead of running outside, but she, like, couldn't unchain the door was the problem. Like, she kept opening the door of the chain, and she, like, could not figure out to slide the chain. So she runs upstairs, where she closes her door, does the double lock with her closet door, and then tries to pick up the phone, but it gets dial tone because the phone downstairs is off the hook and still on.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes over to her computer and types in, call 911. 911, what is your emergency?
Insane.
It's just, I am a instant messenger.
And, like, the text pops up, like, Matrix style. Yeah. Like, it's so... 911, what is your emergency?
And then Ghostface busts in the door, and then, like, it gets caught on the closet door, so it's just the face and, like, one arm swinging wildly through the door trying to get to her. And after she types that, she looks over, because all the noise stopped, and he's gone. He's no longer. And then, when she goes to check the door to look, Billy pops in her freaking window. I'm all over the place if my audio is awful. I'm, like, flinging my body.
You're good.
Reenacting what is happening.
You're
because
good.
Billy falls in front of her. She's on the second story, my guys. Falls in front of her window, and she's like, I heard screaming. What's wrong? And he, like, falls in, and a cellular device falls out of his pockets, and she's like, you. And she runs out of the room, and he's like, what are you talking about? To put in perspective, phones were not common.
No.
Cell phones were not common at this time.
Because they weren't...
They were expensive as fuck.
They were also huge.
Yeah, the phone he has is, like, wildly small, in my opinion.
Yeah. The average wireless phone that you could take with you back then was...
Our logo.
Big. Yeah, our logo.
I made our logo after, like, one of the original cell phones that we'll actually see Gale use later in the movie. I modeled the phone after that.
Yeah. Wild.
They're huge and boxy and, like...
Uncommon.
Ridiculous. She runs to the front door, able to open it this time, and Dewey's standing there with a mask on her and his hand, so she runs into Ghostface, screams, and he's like, ah! And he, like, waves his pistol around. And Dewey is the hardest character to take serious because of what they did to him in Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, to be fair, like, they do him dirty in this movie, too. He's meant to be the dopey cop.
Yeah.
That he still lives at home, and he's 25. He's 25. And he lives at home still, and he's the deputy. He's just a little
He's a fucking
guy.
Goofball.
They call him Dewey. Come on.
Yeah.
They bust into the house. They arrest Billy on suspect of being the murderer. She's in the back of the ambulance while he's in the back of a cop car screaming, Sydney, I didn't do this, Sydney. And she's talking to the sheriff who's like, I need you to come down to the station. They can't get a hold of her dad yet. Or like, we'll call your dad when we get to the station. Tatum comes up and runs straight to the ambulance because she finally got here after checking out movies, I guess. Mm-hmm. And Dewey's like, you can't be here. It's an active crime scene. And she's like, fuck you. This is my best friend. Also, she's staying with us tonight, dumbass. And he's like, wait, does mom know?
Yeah.
Tatum goes off to her car to drive to the police station. Sydney gets put in the back of Dewey's car, and Gail shows up because, of course, she does. She's probably listening to a radio scanner, and she's trying to ask questions. She goes up to Tatum, being like, "What happened?" Blah blah blah, and she's like, "Fuck you! Get the fuck off her lawn!" Like,
yeah.
Gail is your stereotypical "I'm gonna get my story no matter who it affects" reporter.
Yeah, to a T. To
a T, and to the detriment of like you hate her. Because she's just in these victims' faces.
Yeah.
At the police station, Billy is typing at his computer, he's like, and you said it was the Hilton at the airport. Yes. We haven't been able to contact him. No one's been able to contact her dad yet. And everyone's like side-eyeing, like, okay, where's her dad? Billy is death staring her because he's in the sheriff's office and the blinds are open so he can see her at Dewey's desk through the freaking glass.
Yeah.
He's in there with his dad.
Being creepy as fuck.
Creepy as fuck. This actor is just playing a very creepy... I don't know him in anything else, do you?
No, I was just about to see what else he was in. Well, he was in Riverdale.
Oh, he's in The Craft?
He was also in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Yeah, that's all the... Well, I haven't seen Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but like... I haven't seen the rest of the stuff that he's been in. He does a great job. Okay.
Anyways, he plays a really creepy guy, but I just saw a picture of him now, and he just has like the most wholesome little smile and eyes. So he does a really good job.
Yeah.
In the sheriff's office, Sydney had told them that he snuck into her window the previous night. And he's like, so what the fuck's going on? And then his dad's like, you went out last night?
Yeah. He's like, I got bored.
They question how he has a cell phone, and he's like, everyone has a cell phone, man. It's not that big a deal. The sheriff says they have to hold him until the cell phone records come back.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we can just track the calls. Track all the calls from the carrier.
The sheriff's like, really? Yeah, we're right on that. We have to keep him.
Yeah.
So he's in jail for the night. He turns back around to stare at Sydney as everything is still happening. Like, so they talk a little bit longer, and he's like, this is just messed up, man. As they are taking him into the holding, they don't even move her from the premises. This man might have just tried to kill her, and they're just walking him right by her, and he's like, Sydney, tell them. Just like, damn, traumatic.
Yeah.
Tatum comes to pick her up. Dewey got forensics back on the mask. They found the Scream mask. Mm-hmm. That it was later trademarked as Ghostface. It's your super cheap ass Halloween costume that he says is sold at every 5 and dime on every block. Yeah. You can't trace it. It's just mass populated. Tatum argues with Dewey about leaving now, and he's like, hold on, I just need to do some stuff. And she's like, no, we're fucking leaving. And he's like, Mom told you when I'm here in this uniform with this badge, you treat me as a man of the law. And she says something else, and they start walking out. The sheriff tells them to take the back door so they can miss the circus. The whole police station is starting to laugh at Dewey, and as they're walking out, he says, that was my superior. And she's like, a janitor is your superior. Which, at work, I got told that a sidewalk is above me. So, by a customer. That was fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're going to be out of there.
Me too. So they sneak out the back, and Gail is smart enough to be like, oh, there's a back entrance. We're going to go that way. Gail goes down the alleyway while Dewey went to go get his car, leaving them there at the entrance instead of just taking them with him. But whatever. I digress. I heard someone bitching about how, not for us specifically, but they're like, you can't bitch about everything that goes wrong because if it didn't go wrong, there was no story. And I'm like, you're correct.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to bitch about it because, like, we do this. I treat this like if this was a real life scenario, and we're going to dissect it like it was a real life scenario and everything that goes wrong with it.
Yeah.
So I understand, yes, it's for the plot point, but I'm still going to bitch about it because I think it's dumb.
Yeah.
So he leaves them at the back entrance, and Gail and her cameraman, Kenny, come up. Tatum tries to shield her from it, and Sid's like, no, she's just trying to do her job, right? And Gail looks at her a little shocked and says exactly. Sydney asks her about the book she's writing and that she'll have to pick it up once it's out. And Gail says, I'll send you a copy. Sid turns around, fucking decks her hard just when she falls into Kenny. Says, bitch, I can't remember, like, you fucking bitch or something, and then Dewey's there, and he takes him home. While they're back at Tatum and Dewey's place, and they're sitting in twin beds in Tatum's room, and she's like, oh, it was so good. Oh, then I'll send you one. Bitch went down. Oh, I'll send you one. Bitch went down.
So
she has, like, this stuffed animal, and she's, like, punching the air with it.
She's the hype best friend, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That bitch deserved it.
Throughout the whole movie, Tatum is such a girl's girl there's one part where I'm like, girl, you're pushing it a little bit, but, like, I also understand. But she is super on Sid's side the entire time. Once they calm down a little bit, Sid rolls over, face with her back towards Tatum, and Tatum kind of looks at her and she's like, do you really think Billy did it? And she just says, he was there. Why else would he be there? Tatum's mom comes in saying there's a phone call for her. Sid asks if it's her dad, and the mom's like, I don't think so. I'm like, then who the fuck? I don't know. Because I guess they're asking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just this random person, this girl got attacked, and this random person is calling, and it's not her dad, and it's not a cop, because your son's a cop, so you know all the cops in town, and you're just gonna let him speak to her?
Yeah.
I don't know. So she goes to answer the phone, and she's like, hello, and it's the fucking voice, and he's like, hey, how does it feel to finger the wrong man again? Ha!
Jesus Christ.
So she screams, Tatum runs out, Mom knows something's wrong, so she goes banging on Dewey's door, who is not answering. He finally runs out with his pistol and boxers and a t-shirt as soon as the freaking phone call ends, and Tatum looks at him and is like, you fucking idiot. As they walk back into the room, and he looks at the phone, picks up, and says, hello? And obviously there's no one there. In the morning, the news is talking about Cotton Weary and the murder of Maureen Prescott. Sid was the key witness, the only witness, that saw him leave Mom's house. She's the one who put him behind bars.
I'm sorry, I wish I could be more helpful. I
You're good.
I totally forgot Dewey even ran out in his fucking undies.
Yeah.
Like that escaped my mind completely until you said it. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Dewey, in the morning, also states, he sits down at the dining table with them and says, hey, we had to release Billy this morning. The cell bill was clean. Like, we got the report back, and he didn't make those calls. Sydney goes to school. Sydney goes to fucking school after being attacked. And I don't know, like, I went to high school with a girl whose mom ended up dying very tragically. And she came to school the next day. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? And she wanted normalcy. She was just like, I need to be normal. Yeah. I just need everything to be normal. So maybe that's what Sydney's here, just trying to be normal for a second. So he drops Tatum and her off. There's there's newscasters everywhere. Tatum pulls her through the crowd, and then she looks over and sees Gail's van. So she walks over to Gail's van, and Gail's like, not a step closer. She asks her, she's like, I just wanted to ask you something. Gail's like, I don't fucking owe you anything. And she's like, you don't owe me, but you owe my mom. And Gail's like, fucking, okay, grab the camera, Kenny. And she's like, off the record. And she's like, fine, what's up? And asks if Gail really thinks Cotton is innocent. And Gail says, I think you saw, she pretty much says, you saw what you thought you saw. I do think he's innocent. I think you saw him leave. Or I think you saw, because Cotton was caught with a jacket that he was wearing. There was a whole situation. She says that Sydney saw someone leave in Cotton's jacket. Yeah. Not that she saw Cotton leave the house.
Yeah.
And so Gail thinks she just didn't see what actually happened properly. And that, she falsely identified him. The book Gail is writing is on the Maureen Prescott murder. And she has a bunch of theories that Cotton did not do it. Yeah. Gail asks Sydney, why are you asking about this? Are these connected? And Sydney doesn't say anything. And she's like, oh, they're fucking connected. And as Sydney leaves, because Tatum comes and pulls her away, Gail looks over at Kenny and says, I could, like, if he is falsely convicted and the murder is still out there and these murders are connected, I could save an innocent man. And Kenny, like, smiles a little bit and she's like, think about what that will do for my book sales. Yeah. And his smile just falls.
Jesus Christ.
In the hallway, they are at Tatum and Sydney's locker, which are pretty close together. Billy, I keep calling him Billy when I mean Stu. I don't know why. Stubby. Sydney asks where Billy is. Stu kind of just looks at her and says, he's fucking heartbroken, man. You said he tried to kill you. He's not here. Someone runs down the hall wearing a ghost face mask, the whole get up, waving his arms around frantically.
Yelling.
Just,
being crazy.
And she says, what the hell's wrong with people? Stu says, it's Christmas here, man. Look around. Everyone's celebrating. Tatum hits him at this point. He's like, tact, dude. What the fuck? She looks down the hall and says, I shouldn't have come today. And she runs down the hall, running straight into Billy, who grabs her and says, it's just me. And he's like, or do you still think it's me? Mm-hmm. And then he has this whole thing about how she needs to get over the death of her mom because
it's been long enough.
It's been a year and I miss my girlfriend and it's not the same.
She's like, it'll be a year tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, well, it's been that too long and you need to get over it. It's like,
I miss my girlfriend. When my mom left my dad, your mom's still fucking alive. She just walked out on you. And then Sid has a whole line of, sorry, my post-traumatic stress is fucking up your whole perfect little life. Yeah. And walks away.
Good on her. Because, like, what the fuck? That is just, like, some crazy shit to say.
He then looks up at the sky and is like, stupid.
Yeah.
We're in the principal's office, who rips off a ghost face mask from two students and says, this is how you give sympathy? Two of your classmates were murdered. One was attempted murder, and you're running around like this?
He goes over and grabs a big pair of scissors and starts, like, cutting up one of the masks. And then he starts threatening the fucking teenagers
he's like,
with the
you're
scissors.
both expelled, get the fuck out. And they're like, that's not fair. And he's like, yeah, no, what would be fair, you're right, is if I gutted you and hung you in front of a tree so everyone else could see you. And he's taking the scissors down one of the kid's chest as he's talking about this.
Yeah, principal's fucking wacky.
We then cut to the bathroom where Sid walks in and is about to fix her makeup or do something, and you hear two girls talking shit about her, saying, well, her mom was a slut and a tramp, and it probably runs in the family, and she just made up this whole story to get attention. Something's real fucked up in her head now that her mom died. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, what if she killed her mom? Or, like, killed Casey and Steve because she was jealous of Casey for having Steve. You're just... what the fuck?
Yeah, catty ass high school bitches to the nth degree.
Yeah, and one of them finishes off the story with how she did it, and the other one's like, "You're so bad," and they walk out.
Yeah.
She hid. Sorry, they walk out of the stalls, and she hid in a stall. Yeah. And then once they leave, she comes back out of the stall, and she hears something, and she like ducks down and looks and sees that there are no feet at the end of the stalls, and she goes back to the mirror, and she's like fucking pathetic, like talking about herself, you know. Mm-hmm. And then you hear a light little whisper, and she looks up at the AC, and then you hear Sydney. She's like, hello? Is anyone there? And she looks down again, drops to her hands and knees in a freaking high school bathroom to look under the stalls and doesn't see anyone until a work boot and then another work boot with some black jeans. And then this is my favorite part. Stands up fully and then the cape like falling down.
Yeah.
It's so just campy.
It's so good.
And then he runs out. And my favorite thing about the ghost face aura is the running out doing this.
Yeah. Oh, it's the flailing arms that really just tie it all together.
It's the flailing arms above the head. Sorry, I realize we really need to get video because I do so much with like my body as we're doing stuff, but I'm flailing my hands above my head, like wacky inflatable tube bar man.
Yeah. So funny.
He's coming at her with a knife, so she slides under him and he crashes into the sink, and she runs out into the hallway, and a teacher sees her and she's just running for the stairs, running for her life. And the principal over the intercom, because she runs into Dewey. No, she just escapes. And then a newscaster cuts to a different newscaster holding up the ghost face mask saying, allegedly, this is the same mask used by blah, blah, blah. And then it cuts to Gail flirting with Dewey, flattering him all up, trying to get information. He slips inadvertently saying, oh, they can't find Neil Prescott. He is a suspect just because they can't find him. And then over the intercom, the principal's like, cancel for the rest of forever. There's a curfew. Go home. Be safe. Yeah. So there's a citywide curfew now. They don't tell you at what time, but there's now a curfew.
Yeah. Sydney starts leaving the school, and then Stu comes up and is like, dude, thank you.
I don't know what you did, but yeah, fucking go, Sydney.
Yeah. And like everyone's like cheering because, I mean, everyone gets to go home from school.
Yeah.
And just like
just
chill.
that one person's trauma. You know?
Yeah.
Stu grabs Tatum over his shoulder and is like, I'm gonna throw a house party. We gotta do this. And she says, there's a curfew. Are you sure that's a really safe thing to do? And he puts Tatum back down and she's like, I don't know, like it could be fun. Like everyone gets together. Come on, for me. And this is the only time that I'm like, girl, but I get it. For them, they're not experiencing the trauma, right? Tatum got a little bit of the taste of it. But for her, my boyfriend's throwing a house party because we don't have school tomorrow, and now there's no one out because there's a city curfew. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, like, you can come. And so she agrees, and Stu's like, yes, party! So this is fun. The next scene with the principal in this, he wasn't really originally supposed to die. Spoiler alert, he dies. But one of the producers was like, you need to fill this 30 minutes of nothing. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, okay, another death.
That's great.
So the principal puts on the mask, because he cut up one, right? But he has another ghost face mask, and he's looking in the mirror, and he's like, rawr, rawr. He's being this fucking weirdo. When there's a shadow across his, like, frosted window in his door, and then there's a knock, and he goes to answer it, and he's like, hello? And there's no one there, and he closes it, and he's like, those fucking kids, blah, blah, blah. And he, like, starts fixing his hair in the mirror again. And then there's another knock, and he, like, flings it open, and he's like, you fucking... I don't even know what he says. He says a bunch of words about all this stuff, and he looks around, and there's Fred, the janitor, who's dressed like Freddy Krueger, who is Wes Craven.
Yeah, I saw that was who that was when I was looking through like all the actors for the movie. Yep. But the fact that he's dressed up like Freddy Krueger, like he's got the hat, he's got the sweater,
yeah, and he's just mopping the floor.
It's so perfect because he's just like, "Shut up," or like I don't even remember what he says.
You're talking to me?
Yeah, like, you talking to me?
Not you, Fred.
That's so funny. And his name is Fred.
Yeah, Fred the janitor.
So good. That went above my head as a kid. Because I didn't connect all that shit yet. I hadn't even seen Nightmare on Elm Street until like a little bit later in life. I still watched it when I was younger because my childhood friend growing up.
The principal walks back into the office. And he notices that his wardrobe that he was looking in the mirror in is now closed. And he looks at it, psychs himself up for a second, pulls it open, and pushes all his suits aside, and then laughs at himself, goes to close his office door, and behind the office door is Ghostface pressed up with his arms above his head. So as soon as the door opens, he like wiggle-waggles forwards and attacks the principal.
It's so good, dude. It's so good. I feel like I need to get that outfit just so I can do that around my house.
I think your wife would scream. You just...
I think my dogs would freak out.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like, what the fuck is that? Oh my god.
He gets stabbed and shanked and killed to death. Tatum and... Oh, you get this cool reflection shot, though. We talk about nice reflection shots of a zoom in on the principal's eye and then the reflection of the ghost face mask in his iris.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one. Tatum and Sid are talking on Tatum's porch about if her mom was actually having an affair with Cotton and what that would mean. Mm-hmm. And so Tatum says, I don't know, Sid, like even before... Or Sid says, if they were having an affair, why couldn't Cotton prove it? Mm-hmm. Tatum says it's hard to prove a rumor. That's why they're rumors. But it goes back farther than that. There are other rumors about Sid's mom sleeping with someone else. They mention a name, and I didn't connect the name to anybody. I can't remember what name it was.
I can't either.
She's like, you can only hear that rumor so many times before you start to believe it. And then Sid like gets up and walks away, and Tatum's like, no, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean it that way. It's just I don't know what to believe here. Like I want to believe you, but I don't know. And Sid says, if I'm wrong, the killer's still out there. I put an innocent man away and the killer's still out there, which is the worst part because it's not even in my head. I always thought Maureen had died like years previous when she was a kid, right? Like, but this was last year. She was like 17. Yeah. So she died when she was 16. So that makes it worse that she has quote unquote full autonomy as an adult almost, right? You're not 12 and trying to remember something.
Yeah. No, that'll stick with you.
Yeah.
Also, again, Billy being like, you need to get over it. It's like, dude, she's about to come up on the anniversary, the first anniversary of her mother's death. This just happened in her life. In the grand scheme of things, this just happened.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Billy. How about that?
Fuck him.
Sorry. Yeah, I you know, it's
if anyone tells you to grieve better, fuck them.
Yeah.
Grieve in your own time.
Do not let anybody tell you how to grieve. Unless you're doing something violent or, you know, at the detriment of others, then maybe, you know, someone is allowed to tell you to chill out.
If you're taking a year is not a while, by the way.
No.
A year is a completely normal time frame to grieve your mother, to grieve anybody.
Yeah.
A year is a completely...
If you come up on that anniversary and you just, like, detach from the world for a week, that's how you deal with it. If other people are like, no, you need to get out and do this and that and distract you. No. If you want to sit in bed and cry and think on it and work through it, that you're allowed to do that.
No one can tell you how to
grieve. There is no specific way to grieve.
Fuck Billy.
Fuck Billy.
We get Randy at the movie store.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. I wish I could remember the specific dialogue better. Randy just being like, look at Billy over there in the fucking horror section.
It's
like,
such in bad taste.
It's in such bad taste. He's just like such an elitist about it. That's kind of like that's how you were if you liked that kind of shit back then, because it was such a niche
Yeah, it was
hobby.
a niche hobby, yeah.
You know.
A lot of people were very elitist about it.
The people that worked at the movie stores were the ones that were really into that shit. You know?
Yeah, and
like,
it even like proves it with the girl who comes up, the teen, who's like, hey, what's that movie with that one person? And he's like, that's The Howling. It's over in psychological horror. Go that way. Yeah. Just the most minuscule details, he's able to tell you exactly what movie it is. Like, he's a fucking movie buff. His credit is... That's
great.
The horror film enthusiast. That's literally his movie credit for...
Watching this scene, watching this scene and also, you know, talking about that YouTube video I mentioned, or like talking about the importance of physical media and everything, like really, really makes me miss just like walking into
video
a store.
Stores?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
dude.
It was like when my mom would take me to a video store, we would get like something that we would all watch that night. And then my mom would let me rent a game in the meantime. Being able to pick up the box and like look at the cool art and kind of just go off of that. And having like people made shit so cool back then. Back when you had physical copies of old games and stuff, they'd give you a thick ass manual and it would come with all sorts of shit.
It had a section for notes, so if you got cheat codes or knew how to get past something, you could write it down. So next time you play the game, you had it.
Dude, some things came with all sorts of extras.
And just no patches.
Random ass shit.
The fucking game was done.
Either that or you just like Oblivion.
Oh.
You just play Oblivion and deal with all the bugs. But
but you got the copy. The game was done. That was it. It was the same. And like talking about VHSs, they would do different color VHS tapes. Like Nickelodeon, all of their VHS tapes were that orange.
Yeah.
Like physical media was just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And just because
you can go into this section and like feel out what might be good. Like
streaming's not the same.
Yeah. Oh, I see one of my favorite actors on the cover of this. So like I'm gonna look at this, or you know, it's just. And
then you had like I think it takes away the choice paralysis, because you only want to be there for like 10 minutes, right? You don't want to be at a movie store for over 2 hours.
Like,
trying
I want
to
decide, so like let's decide.
Yeah, this looks good enough, I guess. We're gonna rent this tonight.
But sitting at home, you're like, I can watch any of this right now, so let me make sure that it's absolutely what I want to watch.
Exactly.
And it takes away from the experience almost. Anyways, course, we should probably
it's a nostalgia movie. We're going off on nostalgia rants. Goodness.
Got a little ways to go though,
So the whole reason we're at the video store is because Stu is there talking to Randy about if he's coming to the party tonight. And then I don't know why Randy decides Stu is the person to talk to, because Stu and Billy seem like they're all really good friends, and so he's bitching to Stu about Stu's friend.
Yeah. Basically being like, I think Billy's the killer.
And then Stu says something about Randy just wants a chance with Sydney, and he's like, do you think I would have a chance if they broke up? You're like, what? So
Randy's a virgin. It's okay.
yeah, he talks about that too. Stu asks him, why would Billy kill his girlfriend or try to? And he goes off on this whole thing about how there's always a reason to kill your girlfriend. That's the least motive one. He's not wrong. You always look at the spouse or the partner when someone dies. Yeah. There's always a reason, right? And Randy comes up with maybe she wouldn't sleep with him. He got sick of it, just fucking off her. Stu's theory is that it's Neil Prescott, that no one can find him. Mm-hmm. What is he off doing? He probably did it, which, as someone who's seen this movie before, this whole conversation is very fun.
Yeah.
Randy loses his cool and goes off on this whole big rampage. He's yelling in the store about how Neil Prescott is probably dead somewhere and he's going to come back in the third act with his eyes gouged out and he's just a red herring. And Stu's like looking around like, dude, chill the fuck out. Like, calm down. What the hell are you doing? Billy jump scares him by being like, so what, you think I did it? And then Stu comes up behind him and Randy's a small guy. Matthew Lillard is a tall man. Yeah. And so this dude comes up to like, his chin is at the top of this guy's head just about. And so he just lays both of his forearms on this guy's neck as Billy gets in his face about it. What about you? Why aren't you a suspect? And he's like, dude, if this was a horror movie, I'd be prime suspect. I'm the weird horror movie freak. Yeah, of course I have motive. And then they leave him alone. And they like walk out and he like visibly relaxes. Yeah.
To be fair, Billy's creepy.
Billy's really fucking creepy.
He's very just, in every scene, you're just like...
It's because of he does the dib look where he's like...
Oh yeah, like chin to the throat.
Chin down and then he looks up at you. He's like, so what?
I give that look to my wife when I have to shit.
I was like, how do you do that? You're so much taller than her. Oh, that? You have to like look way down?
Usually I'll give it to her. Like, I gave it to her today when I read that text.
Oh.
You just altered the course of my life with just a couple words.
When you did it the first time, all I could picture you doing was... oh.
That's funny.
You guys get none of that. I don't even know how to explain what we just did.
We did the touching the pointer fingers together and like looking down being like, but maybe. But what if?
But, yeah. So they are going through town. Everything's shutting down. People are getting kicked out of cafes for city curfew. Ice cream shops, you name it. Everyone's getting kicked out and there are cops like on every street corner. Dewey, Sydney, and Tatum are outside the police station. He's like, hey, I just have a few things to do. Go entertain yourselves. I'll be right back. They're like, okay, whatever, dumbass. Tatum, with her older brother just being a bitch about it. They go to a grocery store shopping for food for the party because Stu asked them to bring food. So they're like getting ice cream and chips and all this stuff. And they're having this conversation that go Tatum because Sid's like, well, what if it is my fault? Maybe I should just get over the death of my mom. And what other man would put up with not having sex not having sex at all? I'm so lucky he's so good to me. And Tatum's like, bitch, you deserve so much better. Fuck Billy and his penis. He doesn't deserve you.
Yeah, there's nothing that breaks my heart more than like seeing a man wear down a woman so much that she eventually just gaslights herself into being like, maybe I am the problem.
I am the problem.
Like that.
My grief
that's
is
so
not...
depressing. To be drawn down to that place takes a lot. Not in that exact way, but I've felt similarly kind of just having to be like, maybe it is me.
Yeah.
Just like put up with it.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't put up with it.
You don't have
boundaries.
You can have your boundaries and no one should tear them down.
The word of the day is boundaries.
Also, but make sure you know what that means because
yes.
People have been using the term boundary wrong. I've realized.
Yes. Make sure you understand what boundaries are.
Well, and there's this thing of what I've seen in like Reddit stories, right? Of people being like, well, this is my boundary, so you can't do this. But your boundaries cannot affect other people. If you're telling your partner that your boundary is they can't be naked, that's not how that works. Yeah, that's an extreme situation, but your boundaries are...
If you tell your partner that, if you're a guy in a relationship and you tell your partner that your boundaries are they're not allowed to talk to men, that's not okay.
That's not a boundary. That's being controlling.
You need to let them know how you feel about something and make sure they know that. and say that you respect me. And
how can we figure out like what I'm
compromise?
Feeling?
At that point, it's about figuring out the compromise.
Like, what's the underlying feeling that?
Yeah.
With the other one, you can have a boundary, right? Like your boundary can be, you can't treat me like this, right? And that person can still treat you like that. But if that person treats you like that, there's a consequence of you pull yourself out of the situation.
Yes.
You walk away. You can't control how other people act.
Yeah.
Your boundary is how you act in a situation. And people who respect your boundaries will stop. They'll be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that was a thing. And they will work on it. People who don't, they will keep pushing the boundary and keep pushing and say, pretty much gaslight you is what I've seen most of the time, is they'll gaslight you into believing you're wrong. Again, a la Sydney and Billy.
Yeah.
While they're shopping at the grocery store and having this conversation about Billy and his penis, Dewey went and got ice cream. And then meets with the sheriff in front of the office, and who's chain smoking. And Billy's, or not Billy. God, I just want to talk about Billy. Apparently, Dewey's like, I thought you quit, and he looks at him, and then just does not answer that question and continues talking. So he's taking drags, and Billy's, fuck me, motherfucker, Dewey is licking his ice cream. So anytime the sheriff takes a drag, he licks his ice cream, like he's doing they're doing the mimicking thing back and forth.
Yeah.
And if you've seen, is it a Scary Movie? Where he also throws the ice cream down and steps on it like a cigarette.
Oh God, does he? It's been so long since I've watched Scary Movie, but if that's
I was like expecting it to happen in the scene.
That's such a good bit. That's such a fucking good bit.
I was like, as it was happening, I was like, doesn't he throw the ice cream down? And he didn't, and I was like, oh no, I'm getting my movies confused, I think. But
that's so funny.
The sheriff's talking to him saying they can't find Neil Prescott anywhere. The phone calls came from Neil Prescott's phone. He is now their prime suspect. And he tells Dewey, hey, stay super close to Sydney because we don't know what's happening. They go back into the police, or the sheriff goes back into the police station, and Dewey's like, I'll keep a close eye on him, sir. I got this. And he like licks his ice cream again. And then the next scene is him dropping them off at the house party. It's like, have fun, but not too much fun because I'll bust you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got the giggles because I'm sorry. This is so dumb. But and you can cut this if you want, but like I don't remember that scene happening in Scary Movies. So like just
did I make it up?
I don't know, but I hope that's in Scary Movies.
That has to be in something.
That's such a good bit. Like I like, it's making me like so giggly right now because like I'm just picturing the dude like, and he steps on it. And it's just like a cut of the ground, and then like
he steps on the ice cream. If it didn't happen in Scary Movie, it had to have happened in Shriek. I Know What You Did Last Friday the 13th. Because I swear I've seen this scene before. Unless I'm totally just making it up.
Oh, God.
I made the best bit ever if I am.
Holy shit.
Someone tell me, what is this happening?
Oh, my God. This is an episode, again, I think, like, we gotta figure out video, because, like, I'm fucking crying right now, dude. Like, I don't know why that bit just fucking kills me.
Oh, so Dewey's dropping them off at Stu's party.
Yeah.
And he says, have fun. He drives off, and you're like, the cop is just going to leave him there? He's patrolling the party, which is honestly, it's a small town. Every kid in town is now at this party. You're like, perfect. I have eyes on an entire, like, senior class.
See, that was my thought, is like, it's fair that Sydney may not want to take part in a party, because the only reason it's happening is due to all the shit that's going on, and it has to do with her trauma directly. But, like, it's not a bad idea to have all of them in one place, to have eyes on them, and to have the buddy system. You got a bunch of bodies in one room, keeping an eye on each other. Mm-hmm. But the problem is they're teenagers, and, you know, it's a party, so alcohol's introduced, and there's, like...
And it's a horror movie, so it's a party, and there's drinking, and people are gonna die.
But like, it's not a bad idea.
No, the grand scheme of things, right? You have a group of... Nightmare on Elm Street does it. They do a sleepover. They don't do a party, but
like
they do a
killer's
sleepover.
not going to want to show up to a house full of 20 people, because 20 people can overpower a single person.
Exactly. It's a buddy system party, not bad idea. Drinking and getting shit-faced as much as they do, not the smartest, but as far as anyone's concerned, the only person at risk here is Sydney.
Yeah.
Gail also shows up. Dewey spots them immediately. They park the van and they're like, do you think we made it? Do you think anyone saw us? And then Dewey appears and is like, hey, how's it going? Jump scaring the shit out of them. He says he's there to check out the party, keep everyone safe. Gail asks if she can come, and she gets handed a handheld camera, like a little camcorder from Kenny, slips inside with them, and so now Dewey's inside with Gail at the party, and Stu is ecstatic because he's like, the weather bitch is here, or the newscaster, you know that bitch who's on 20 whatever show she's on, she's at my fucking house.
Oh my god, I love Matthew Lillard.
He's such a cool dude.
He's just so animated in every performance.
It's what makes him such a good Shaggy too.
Yes, 100%. Well, it's so funny because like you watch Scooby-Doo and you're like, he should be that animated, and then you watch Scream and you're like, it's a horror movie. But he's still just...
He's that...
Wow, hey, man! Like, wow! It's just like...
It makes Stu such a unique character for me. It sticks in his head.
100%. It's such teenager vibes.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Like, when he does it, he sticks his tongue out and it's like fucking gigantic. It was just like...
Yeah, it's so good. I need to watch the Scooby-Doo movies again.
Dude, they're on... Are they on Hulu? Or Tubi or something? We just watched them. So they get into the living room. Dewey sees a bunch of kids drinking.
Sorry.
And he steals the beer bottle from someone and says, you're underage. And he's like, I'm just kidding. And hands it back. And they walk around. And Dewey walks over to Tatum because she's calling him. And she's like, what the fuck is Gail doing there? And he's like, she's here with me. She wants to be here with me. I brought her.
Goodness.
The thing is, as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. And then as someone who's now on the opposite side of 26, I'm just like, you good, my guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we had the same conversation with The Descent where they were bitching on Beth because she was 26. This is just the opposite. They just like not infantilize. They just childize Dewey so much to be the goofy cop, right?
Yeah. Which, if you've seen Scary Movie, they take that to
the nth degree.
An unhealthy degree. A bit cringy at some parts, but you know, I think that's like kind of part of it.
What satire movie has the guy with a hat that just keeps getting bigger? Am I making this up too?
No, I think I think that is something. I don't know if I've seen that. That also sounds like a really good bit. I feel like it sounds like as I enter my 30s, I need to rewatch some of those because I didn't quite get some of the humor when I was young, but I feel like I will now.
If it's also a scary movie, I'm gonna just be like, oh, I'm just there. It was intentional.
Shit.
But Gail hides the camera right under, again, 96. We have the big box TVs, so they're set on top of like intense entertainment centers. She slips it right on top of the VHS player. And they walk around a little bit. Tatum gets sent to the garage because before Stu got up to get the door to get Gail and Dewey inside, he looks at Tatum and is like, can you go get me a beer? And she's like, why am I the keeper of the beers? So she ends up having to go out to the garage to the beer fridge. And she's like grabbing a handful of beer and she accidentally opened the garage door because it's right next to the light. So that's a little bit of foreshadowing. She's grabbing like a handful of beer. She has like 5 or 6 in her arms going back inside and the door closes on her. She goes up and it's locked and she's like, haha, very funny. Come on, guys. And no one opens it. So she opens the garage door and starts walking towards it when it stops. And then it starts closing again. And she turns around and there's a guy in a ghost face mask. And she also instantly is like, okay, haha, very funny, Randy. Apparently Randy's just this kind of guy who
everyone thinks Randy's the killer.
Or at least play like a prank like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And she's like,
jokester.
She's going up and she's like, let me by. And like the dude's not talking, just shaking his head. And she's like, oh, do you want me to play the helpless little victim? And he nods. And he's like, oh, help me. And they like do this whole thing. And she's like, okay, dude, now like move. And he like pulls out a knife and she's like, what the fuck? And so she backs away. And I think he gets her once with the knife or almost does. They trip and fight and fall. And it's a whole chaotic garage scene. If you've seen Scary Movie, you know what's happening next.
Yeah, she tries to climb through the little cat door in the middle of the garage door. As she's like squeezing through, she she stops about halfway through because she can't fucking fit.
She gets one arm and her head through, but she can't shoulder her other arm through, so she's like stuck halfway, and then the door starts rising. And
the door starts pulling her up. She starts to panic and scream as the camera like pans to look up at the top of the door as it gets closer and closer.
And it just...
It fucking pulls her in, and then it cuts to a shot of the mechanism just shorting out, sparks flying because it's jamming up. And
what ends up happening is she breaks her neck here, and Ghostface...
This scene fucked me up as a kid.
Yeah. Well, so garages are supposed to have a bunch of... My, like, voice broke right there. Oof. That was rough. Garages have a bunch of mechanisms to make this not happen, right? Like, she tries to go under the garage door, and it doesn't stop when it senses a person. Like, there's a bunch of shit that this garage door did not have, and I don't know if it would have been strong enough to fully pull her up like that, because my garage door like stops if like a handle of a broom gets stuck on it. Like any type of weight, it instantly goes back down.
I'm afraid of garage doors, mainly the springs.
Springs are wild. They're scary.
Yeah, don't ever try to reset a garage door spring on your own.
No,
don't ever.
Just hire a professional.
They'll kill you.
The original murder of Tatum was supposed to be a smashed in head, and apparently it was too gruesome, so they went with a snapped neck instead. I don't know if the garage door was supposed to like come down and smash her head instead of going up and killing her. I don't know.
That was before horror movies jumped in, really leaned into trying to use the shock factor.
Well, yeah, it's 96.
Yeah.
There's only so much you could show too, you know? Before movie like companies would be like, not happening.
It definitely like times changed and more was able to be shown on TV and in movies, and then before you knew it, horror movie directors were able to get really creative.
Ghostface then goes through the door that is now unlocked because he was the one who locked it. Billy shows up while Sydney is... Some people are starting to leave, right? So Stu is letting some people leave. Sydney also wants to leave, and she's like, hey, Tatum, like, come on, let's go. Stu says something of like, oh, I haven't seen her. That's weird. Like, I don't know. She's probably passed out. I can't remember exactly what he says here. Billy shows up. He's like, I just want to talk. And Stu's like, I don't know, man. And she's like, no, like, we can talk. Like, we should. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Stu doesn't play the good guy here. He's like, you guys can go up to my parents' bedroom and, talk. And he does some hand motions. And again, Billy looks at him and is like, subtlety, man. Why? And she's like, no, that's okay. Like, we can go up there and talk. I think we need to. So they do go up to the room and talk. And Randy sees him and he's like, why is Leatherface here? Gail goes back out to the the camera van where the Kenny has gotten the feed going, and he gets jump scared by her because he's like, oh shit, there's a delay. There's like a 30-second delay, I think. And she's like, okay, we'll just keep watching. We'll get what we get. Up in the parent bedroom, they have a talk about how Billy's like, you know what? Like, I was being so selfish with the whole sex thing and asking you to get over your parents. And she comes back with, no, you weren't the selfish one. I was selfish for grieving the death of my mom and, like, keeping sex from you. And this is all my fault. And how my PTSD just, like, I can't let it take over my life, which, yes, you shouldn't, I don't want to say don't let your mental illness become who you are.
You need to figure out how to work through it. And if not, you can't necessarily always get rid of it, but like, how do you live with it and not let it...
Have a good life.
Yeah, like, how do you not let it take away the happiness that you're supposed to be experiencing throughout life?
And then she goes on with saying, like, I've just been wallowing in my grief. Girl, it's been a year. You're fine. You're not even wallowing.
Take a week off.
You can just
You've
chill.
You've been smiling like half the time. Like, it's okay.
You're still living life. Everything seems good. Take a moment. Take some time. Tomorrow is the anniversary of your mom's death. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I guess I'm just scared that I'll turn out like she did. I know that doesn't make sense, but maybe it's like a bad seed. The connecting the dots here is that she doesn't want to have sex with Billy because she's afraid that she's going to be a slut. That is the underlying connotation of that sentence.
Yeah. Which, God damn it, dude.
Your sex life is no one else's fucking business.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's nobody's fucking business. As long as you're not doing it at the detriment to others, it doesn't fucking matter.
Consenting adults.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
They're also like supposed to be 16 or 17, which is just a whole other bag of worms.
Yeah, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, but it's usually just full of shit.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to point out, the start of the party is when they started filming scene 118.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the entire party is just called scene 118 or if chunks of it are called scene 118. I don't know. But this is the rest of the movie. Is the party.
Which we still got a little bit left, so.
Yeah, we got like a page left.
That's not too bad.
No. Billy is like, it's just like, you're just like Silence of the Lamb. Or Jodie Foster from Silence of the Lamb. And this is a wild movie reference to compare your girlfriend to, my guy, but whatever, I guess, you fucking weirdo. And she's like, but life isn't a movie. And he's like, why not? Well, life is a movie. It's just one continuous movie. And we just gotta live it. And they start making out a little bit. And then she like pulls away and hugs him and says, why couldn't it just be a Meg Ryan movie or a really good porno? And he looks at her and he's like, really?
Are you sure? She's like, yeah.
And she says yes, and they start making out again, and then we get downstairs, where that whole thing out of the peripheral of my eyes is wild.
What? Oh, this? Sorry, I was cleaning my phone with my shirt.
He's vigorously rubbing his phone with his t-shirt, and I'm looking down at my computer, and all I see is the vigorously rubbing, and I'm like, whoa.
Listen, man, I just got a new phone recently, and I've been really, like, anal about keeping it clean and like keeping the screen free of fingerprints.
No, it's fine. It's just that motion because you're using the bottom of the shirt. It was just like, oh, okay. I'm just gonna keep looking down until you're done, I guess.
Oh my god, that's funny. Oh my god, Jesus Christ.
Downstairs, the party has shrank, right? So there's a big group of people, and now we're down to a smaller group of people who are all still watching Halloween. Randy has his iconic horror movie speech at this point because Stu's like, I want to see her tits. Or
Where's the obligatory tit
breasts.
scene?
I want to
breast
see
scene, yeah.
her breasts. And
Jamie Lee Curtis's breasts.
And Randy goes off about how, no, she was a virgin until X amount of movie. Like, she never showed her breast until then. And then he gives the whole speech of, rule 1, you can never have sex, and the whole party boos. And he says, rule 2, you can never drink or do drugs. And then they all scream and do cheers. Rule 3, never, ever say, I'll be right back, because you won't be. And Stu gets up and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get a beer. They're like, does anyone want anything? He's like, no, it's fine. He's like, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
And we get the scene two ways because we're also watching Gail and Kenny watch everything happening in the van. And then we're getting the actual time because, again, they have a 30-second delay of what's going on in the room. There is a knock on the van door and they have to shut off the TV real fast that they're watching. And it's Dewey saying, hey, there's a parked car that I got called. Gail, do you want to come look at it with me? And she looks at Kenny and tells him to keep watching. She's like, I'll be right back. And she's about to walk to his cruiser, but he says, I think we should walk. It's a really nice night, and I have my flashlight. And they start walking. She's like, okay. And he looks up and says, I don't know if you caught this dialogue, says, do you know what that constellation is? And she says, no, what is it? And he says, I don't know, I was asking you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's just like quick quips like that throughout the movie that are just, it's so good.
It's so good. Well, and I can totally see like someone watching this movie and being like, oh, that's hilarious. Mm-hmm. I want to make an even funnier version of that, and then boom, Scary Movie's born.
Yeah, you just nth degree everything.
It just like, it feels so right that was the next step from the original Scream. Not to say that the original Scream is so just funny or silly or goofy, like it is a proper slasher, but it just leans into that trope, just fucking like throws it up so much that there's just so many like tension diffusing moments that really make it
that's
hard
exactly what it is.
Yeah, like the tension's not really held for long because there's just plenty of moments where they're just like trying to get you to kind of giggle or maybe just be like, oh, that was silly.
More guests leave, chilling the party down even smaller. Billy and Sid are getting it on upstairs. And I'm sorry. Pretty much all of the teens leave from the house because they just found the principal. After.
Oh, is that after?
I think so. Yeah, because they do the tit scene first.
Oh, that's right. So like it's a couple teens leave, but not all of them. There's still like a majority.
There are a bunch of boys and then one girl all sitting in the living room watching this, and they're like, yes, the tit scene, the obligatory tit scene. And the girl's like, I'm just gonna leave you guys to this. And she leaves, and then upstairs we get these like cut back and forth scenes of Sydney taking her shirt off, but it doesn't show her boobs entirely, it just shows her bra. And they keep having sex up there. Then the phone rings, and Randy has to shuffle in front of, because the corded phone is by the TV, and he shuffles and he gets a phone call, and the phone call is someone, and he's like, what's up? And he's like, oh my God, really? And he's like, all right, everybody, listen up. They just found Principal whatever strung up at the goalpost with all of his guts out. And one of the boys is like, oh my God, we have to go see him before they pull him down. And then the rest of the party leaves. They pile in the last cars and fucking dip.
Just all drunk as shit, jumping out into their cars, getting ready to drive to go see the dead principal. Like it's a
carnival side attraction. I don't know.
The teenagers all have a very weird, extreme morbid curiosity, almost an enjoyment out of the things that are happening.
Yeah, I would say everyone, again, is enjoying it to a degree that I don't think they should be.
Yeah, which teenagers are little fucking shitheads. They're gonna make jokes about whatever the fuck they want.
Gail and Dewey are walking down the road, talking about how shitty their names are. Gail asks if Dewey's his real name, and his real name's actually Dwight. He got stuck with Dewey. She's like, well, I'm Gail Weathers. Weathers, everyone thinks I'm some meteorologist, and I'm not. So they bitch about how their names kind of suck. The kids almost hit them, and they have to, like, jump off of the road because of the kids swerving down the road. Dewey lands on top of Gail. She leans up and kisses him, and he stops kissing her, saying, sorry, I'm on duty. And she, like, throws her head back and just, like, shakes her head a little and then looks over, and she's like, is that what you were looking for? And he's, like, staring down at her, and he's like, I don't know. He looks over, and he gets up, and he's like, oh my God, and he helps Gail up, and he's like, this is Neil Prescott's car. He starts looking around. He's like, we have to get back. And so they book it back to the house as fast as they can. Upstairs, they are getting redressed. And I don't know what kind of sex they be having, that one of them is on the floor and she's all the way across the room. But Billy's on the floor putting his pants back on and his shirt. And she's like,
nuts so hard he shoots across the room.
The blowback on that.
Jesus. I mean, you fucking tease a teenage boy long enough. Jesus Christ.
Well, apparently. It's like he got shot. Whee!
Sorry about that mental image.
That's gotta be in some movie. Some satire movie. Blue ball so hard he gets shot across the room.
That sounds like a Blue Mountain State bit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I could also see it being in movie 43. It wasn't, but that would totally be a movie 43 bit too.
Fucking hell. I do like the bit though in Scary Movie where they're getting ready to have sex and she takes her panties off and it's like cobwebs and spiders like coming out. It's like, holy shit.
Is it the second one where he's got to take the weed eater to her bush?
Oh, yes. Oh my fucking God.
Because that's the one that's modeled after the House on Haunted Hill or whatever, where they're like locked in the castle.
It's so insane. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, I need to watch these.
Yeah, we got a fucking movie night again.
She asks Billy as she's got her back to him as he's buttoning it up, and he's like, was that okay for you? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. She smiles back at him and she's like, I was just wondering, who was your one phone call? And he's like, what? And she says, when you get arrested, they always say you have one phone call. I just want to know who yours was. And he says, it was my dad. And she's like, well, that's funny because like the sheriff totally called your dad. And he's like, yeah, because when I called, no one answered. And she's like, I just think it would be like if this was a horror movie and you used your one phone call to call me to make it seem like, you weren't actually the killer. That would be just like a really great plot point. And his eyes like harden. Like, I know that's a weird sentence, but you can see like the deadpan in his eyes just be like, what do I have to do to prove to you that I'm not a psychotic killer? And she like looks at him and her face drops and she says, oh my God, she actually now believes he's the killer. And then Ghostface busts in through the door. She says, oh my God.
He gets slashed at and falls to the ground covered in blood. She panics.
Runs through like a connecting bathroom that has a sliding door, runs into another room. They're doing circles upstairs. She gets into the attic, closes the door, throws a surfboard down to block it. She tries banging on the window to get a hold of the news van, but no one can hear her. And then Ghostface busts in through the door, so she runs to a different window, slides it open, hangs out the window, gets fully out, and is screaming for help. And so Ghostface grabs her hand and tries to slash at her, and she falls off and is falling off a 2-story roof. But then she lands on the boat, then rolls off the boat and is like, oh, fucking hell. And she runs to the news van, and the news van guy is like, oh my god, what the fuck? And he says,
get in. Or he like opens the door and tells her to get in.
No, she says, oh, Ghostface is in the house. And he's like, oh shit, like I have a live feed. What's going on? Because he's about to go in the house. And then he stops to see where Ghostface is in the house. And they're watching Ghostface behind Randy.
Yeah, Randy's in the
drunk
house.
Off his ass.
Being like, Jamie, look behind you. Look behind you. Meanwhile, Ghostface is walking behind Randy, creeping up to him. God.
He's like, Jamie, behind you, Jamie, just please, you gotta look behind you. He's so fucking drunk. And they're screaming in the van, look behind you, Randy.
Yeah.
And then Ghostface like turns and doesn't kill Randy, or does something, and then fucking Kenny gets his throat slit. Ghostface is now there.
Yeah.
Oh, because what happened was, so Ghostface, she fell off, right? And Ghostface ran downstairs, was about to attack Randy, and her scream of when she was walking across the lawn stopped him from killing Randy.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to the van. Kenny has fallen asleep watching the thing. She says Ghostface is in the house. He goes to get out. So he's outside the van watching the tape, trying to figure out where Ghostface is when he gets his throat slit. And he falls to the ground. Sid gets stabbed in the shoulder trying to slam the van door closed, and then crawls out through a little gap between the equipment outside the back of the van, and then down the street towards a barn. Dewey and Gail finally get to the house, where he asks Gail if there's a phone in her car. She says yes. He says, go call the sheriff. I gotta go inside and look for Neil, because he thinks it's Neil. So he goes in the house and he's like, Neil Prescott, Mr. Prescott, Neil, like, are you in here? Gail calls for Kenny to get the satellite phone or the mobile device or something like that, and he's not in there. And she's like, Kenny? And then she looks down with the light, and she's stepping all in his blood, and she's like, what the fuck?
There's blood on the step of the van, and it's pooled on the ground.
She's been standing in it, and so she like slams the van door shut. She crawls in the front, grabs the big-ass telephone we've been talking about that is our logo, and goes to call 911. Where and then Randy comes up on the side of the van and is like, says something, and she just punches him multiple times with the fucking phone until he falls to the ground.
Oh my god, help! And she fucking smacks the shit out of him in the face with the phone until he falls, and then she just ends up starting the car, and
as soon as she turns on the lights, the windshield is covered in blood.
Yeah, and she's like freaking out. She tries to wipe it off with her hands on the inside, realizes it's on the outside, and hits the windshield wipers. And it starts swiping away all the blood. And then she goes to back up. And as she backs up, fucking Kenny falls onto the front windshield, dead as fuck, staring at her with wide eyes. And she freaks out and hits the gas.
She's like, Kenny, I'm so sorry, but get the fuck off my windshield!
Yeah, and fucking flings him into a fence and like onto the ground. Fucking drives off.
And Sydney's in the middle of the road. She almost hits Sydney. She swerves into a fence and then crashes into a fucking tree at the bottom of this, like, dip. And, I hated this part because I understand people's responses to car crashes, but the response of, I'm gonna let go and hide my face is always the worst to me.
Yeah, like...
Press the gas and steer? Or press the brake and steer?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I know, like, in those moments, your fight or flight, your
like,
instincts
don't even
just take
steer.
over.
Just press the brake and just try to...
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's just a pet peeve of mine with car crashes. Nothing will ever be Eden Lake and how he gets penned to the fucking seat without... I don't know.
That fucking movie.
God, that movie. Sid watches Gail crash and then runs back to the house. She calls out for Dewey as she comes in, and she's at like the picket fence, so she's down the drive a little. She's calling out for Dewey, and Dewey comes out and he says, Sid? And he does not look okay. And she's like, oh my god, Dewey. And then he falls forward and you just see a knife in his back. And she's like, oh my god. She runs up the stairs to him. Oh, I'm sorry. Ghostface follows out. Ghostface follows where? Does he follow out of the house? Or he comes in the doorway and then Randy screams and she looks back and Ghostface is no longer in the doorway. Randy's like limping up towards her. And she's like, that Gale Weathers bitch just beat the shit out of me. And is talking about like, I could not understand this because he started screaming about something. Then Stu comes up and starts screaming about something. She goes up and grabs Dewey's gun and is pointing it at both of them and says, fuck you both. Because Stu says it was Randy. Randy saying Stu went crazy. I don't know. Back and forth about a bunch of stuff. She slams the front door on them and says, fuck you both. And then you can hear them being like, oh my God, he's going crazy. And you hear a scuffle happen.
Billy comes out of the room upstairs.
Oh, I'm so sorry. She locks herself in Dewey's car first.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So Ghostface follows out. She gets in Dewey's car, but Ghostface appears with the little keys because she like tries to lock both, and then she dangles the keys. He dangles the keys in front of her.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to whack-a-mole with the car locks until you just slowly watch the hatchback open. Ghostface crawl through. The dispatch radio goes off, and she's like, "I'm at Stu whatever's house on blah blah blah. We're getting attacked. We need an ambulance." And then she gets attacked by Ghostface.
She rolls out of the car and then runs up. Yeah, she rolls out of the car, runs back towards the house and like up towards the front door, where she then hears Randy screaming a bunch of nonsense. And then, you know,
that whole situation we just
said. Whole situation where Stu shows up, screams a bunch of nonsense. She grabs the gun, goes inside, locks them out. You hear both of them being like, please let me in. And then
Billy stumbles his way from upstairs and then literally falls all the way down the stairs. And she's like, I thought you were dead. And he's like, so did I. I'm
like a stuck pig, but I live.
And he goes and locks the door and he's like, okay, give me the gun. And she gives him the gun. He opens the door and lets Randy in. And Randy's like, Stu's gone fucking mad. Billy says, like, Billy's like hunched over a little bit and he stands up and he's like, you know, he scratches his head with the gun and says, we all go a little mad sometimes. And then shoots Randy. Billy then licks his fingers because he like touches his chest with all the blood and he's like, corn syrup. Just what like exactly what they used in Carrie for the pig's blood.
Yep. He also quoted American Psycho when he said,
we all go a little mad. She then turns to run through one of the rooms, but runs into Stu. And they corner her like they did kind of with Randy in the video store, where they kind of just back her into the kitchen. She says they're not going to get away with this. They're kind of explaining the stuff that's happened so far. Billy says, tell that to Cotton Weary. It's pretty easy, actually. And Stu's leaning on his shoulder. Everyone talks about like the homoerotic tension between Stu and Billy.
Yeah.
And Stu's like leaning on him and he's like, you would just watch a few movies and it's crazy the amount of tricks you pick up. And she's like shoved against the counter and they're both in front of her and she has nowhere to go. She says something about the movies and they say, oh, don't blame the movies. They just make psychotic killers even craftier. So their whole thing is, Stu walks away and he's like, I'll be right back. And Billy's talking about like, oh, it's so much scarier when you don't have a motive. We just did it because we wanted to. There's no real reason. And then he says, the reason they killed her mom. So we find out that they are the ones who killed her mom, obviously with the whole framing Cotton, because she was a whore and that was all they needed. Like she slept around, so they murdered her.
Yeah, so Billy says that Sid's mom was cheating on, or, you know, having an affair with Billy's dad, and that's why Billy's mom left.
So that was his real reason.
Because, you know.
She broke up his happy little family.
Yeah.
At that point, Stu comes back with Neil Prescott all duct taped up. He's got his mouth duct taped, middle, like, arms, everything duct taped, throws him to the ground. Billy pulls out the voice changer, does his voice through it, sticks it into Neil's front pocket and says, we don't need this anymore. So their whole plan is, it's after midnight. So now it's the anniversary of her mom's death. Her dad went crazy, killed everyone, leaving them for dead, and then thought they were also dead, but shoots himself, and they miraculously survive. So after they explain all of this, they stab each other.
Yep.
A little too vigorously for the first one, that Billy is not happy with the first stab, and he's like, hey, I told you to fucking be careful, give me the damn knife. And they have like this weird tension here where then Stu gives Billy the knife again to get his own stab again. So Billy stabs Stu first, Stu then stabs Billy, Stu gives the knife back to Billy, who then stabs Stu. a plethora more times, and he like falls to the ground and he's like, dude, like I can't take anymore, like I think I'm bleeding out here, like enough.
Psychotic.
Oh, and Stu says, yeah, everyone dies but them, but they get to make the sequel because everything needs a sequel nowadays. Sid says they've seen one too many movies. Billy tells Stu to grab the gun so they can shoot him. Stu goes over to grab the gun and it's not there, and he's like, one problemo, my guy, like it's not fucking here, I put it here. Billy comes over to check and they're like, well, where the fuck did it go? Gail has it. And she's standing there and she's like, I got a better ending for you. The Left for Dead newscaster miraculously survives and saves the day. She does it better than I'm doing it, but she has like a whole thing about it. And Sydney pipes up with, I like that ending.
Yeah.
Then
Billy starts approaching her and like laughing, being like, well, I know one thing you don't, or something like that.
Yep, and she goes to pull the trigger and can't because the safety's on, so he fucking Sparta kicks her ass out the door again. She lands in a pillar, knocking her head and passing out. So he picks up the gun now. While they were doing that, they turn around and Sid has escaped, and so is Neil. They're both gone. The phone rings, and it's Sid using the voice changer, being like, want to play a fucking game? And like doing all the thing. And she's like, I've already called the cops and they're on their way. And Stu, again, falls to the ground. He's like, dude, I think I'm bleeding to death. I'm actually fucking dying.
Billy starts to Billy gives the phone to Stu and is like, talk to her. And then he starts to go look for her. But then Billy just starts to like destroy the whole house.
He just has a temper tantrum, man.
Yeah, he like breaks some shit in the kitchen, walks into the living room, stabs a pillow and rips it apart, and there's feathers everywhere.
He like feathers himself because it's sticking to all the corn syrup on him.
He's covered in feathers. It's kind of funny.
Sydney asks Stu what his motive is, and he's like, I'm just a gullible peer pressure. That's exactly saying he was peer pressured by Billy to do it. And he asks, he's like, did you really call the cops? And she's like, a fucking course I did. And he's like, my parents are gonna be so mad.
He starts bawling.
As he's actively dying. This is, like, again, showing their mentality that they're fucking teenagers.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job with some of the lines with the script and stuff.
100%.
Billy is throwing his tantrum, and then he gets distracted by the movie because it's the scene where Michael Myers is breaking through the closet to get to Jamie Lee Curtis. And so he, like, looks over and is kind of watching it because of all the loud banging. And if you've watched the original Halloweens, the sound effects are so much louder than any dialogue in the movie. They are a jump scare in their own because the volume throughout the movie is not the same. Yeah,
there's some good moments where Billy's looking around the house because you hear screaming, but then you realize it's Jamie Lee Curtis screaming in Halloween.
Ghostface pops out of the closet with the arms flailing and attacks him, stabbing him with an umbrella in the chest. And then he's like, what the fuck? He gets shoved into the window. The second stab actually hit him. So he had open heart surgery, and so he's wearing a vest in that. And the umbrella had a retractable tip. So the first hit did okay. You can see it retract. Yeah. But the second hit missed the vest and actually hit him in like a scar tissue or something. And so that scream he does is a real scream.
Oh, God.
And so Wes Craven obviously kept it in because it was such a good scream.
Yeah. Damn.
He falls to the floor, motionless. Stu comes out and attacks her, but she hits him with a vase. Like, they scuffle, they fall to the ground. He tries to strangle her. She gets a vase and, like, knocks him on the head with it. And then she gets out from under him and then knocks the TV down. Those old school freaking static, actual electric coursing through everything TV. And you just watch him just scream and pretty much electrocute to death.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
He also says, I always had a thing for you, Sid. And as he was bitching at Randy for having a thing for her.
Yeah, she kills Stu, and then
she goes over to Billy's limp body and picks up the mask and is kind of just staring at it. Randy comes over and he's like, she looks at him and says, oh my God, you survived. And he's like, yeah, I've never been so glad to be a virgin.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so good.
This scene is so fun because you can't really see it happen, but Billy gets up and just decks Randy in the face, but the scene of it is like you can just see him move because the punch is directly on from the side of the camera.
Does that happen?
Yeah. So it's like,
yeah.
So if you're filming this way, right, you have Randy here and Sid middle screen. So stage right is where Randy is, and you can just barely see Billy get up on stage left, and then his fist is just directly across the screen in the weirdest fucking punch ever, knocking Randy out. Gale gets up and then shoots him because he gets up and then instantly Gale just fucking clocks him. Yeah. She says, I guess I remembered the safety this time, huh?
Yeah.
Sid kicks his leg and Randy says, be careful, this is the moment where the killer comes back for the final scare. He does like lean up and she fucking shoots him. Sid takes the gun. Sid has the gun at this point. Takes it, shoots him directly between the eyes and says, not in my fucking movie.
Yeah.
Then we get this shot of the sun rising and Dewey is getting wheeled into the ambulance and they're telling him to hang on, buddy. Gale is all cleaned up but beat to shit. She's got like this big scratch mark. She's got a black eye. She's got all these cuts on her. And she has a new cameraman and she's like, I have the greatest story for you with a firsthand experience. And she's telling the whole thing as we pan over to the sun rising. And then right before it cuts, you get this flash of Ghostface as one last scare and then it cuts to credits.
And that's Scream for you.
That is Scream. The thing that kickstarted God knows how many other things.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, that was a moment in time where there was a lot of influence in the things that were being done because it was a lot of new technologies and new ways to give people media. Even back in like the late 70s, early 80s, you know, those movies were great and they were very inventive and pushing the boundaries, but then like, you know, it just, that influence literally goes such a long way. And I mean, we'll see that continue. Like that's a part of life, you know, we'll see that stuff happen constantly. But
if my audio gets weird at the last end of this, I apologize. I was messing with my mic. So
yeah, no worries. But yeah, I mean, you got to go watch it because it's just one of those movies that like, if you like horror movies, you should have definitely watched Scream at some point in your life. With,
again, the caveat that it's very campy. It's not, like you said, it's not super scary. Like, it's a slasher flick. You're in for the blood, guts, and gore of it. It's not, you get your little jump scares here and there, but it's nothing, you know, like Together or Bring Her Back, where it's just like
There were no trigger warnings for this one.
No, it's just your standard slasher flick with an amazing cast and, yeah, classic.
Go watch it.
Go watch it.
Put it on the list.
Add it to the list.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Follow our Instagram and threads at No Self Service Pod. Until next time.